Hi guys, so today's video is going to be a get ready with me using all of the new Jaclyn Hill Morphe brush collection. Literally, I think I used every single brush except for two. So if you would like to see what every brush in the collection looks like and how it should be used when applying your makeup, then definitely keep watching. So just to start out this video, I want to show you guys what the brushes look like when you get them. So they come in this gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous silver glitter case. I personally love this case. I think it's really stunning and I think it's really, really sturdy. I mean, this is not going anywhere. And as far as it flying open, it does have a magnetic closure right there. So it's not just going to fly open and release all of your brushes. Then when you do open it, it does sit flat just like this and you can see all of your brushes and everything. So as far as packaging, I love that it comes with this case. I think it's really, really, really nice. And honestly, can't say enough good things about the case in particular. As far as the brushes go, you will see every single one of them in action except for two. And the two that I didn't use are just two other blending brushes. But everything else you will see in action in this video. So without further ado, let's get started with this makeup look. Okay guys, so we are ready to get started. So I have all of my brushes right here in this gorgeous little box that we looked at earlier. Let's just go ahead and get started. So first I'm going to just be going in with the Pore Professional primer. This is just a little tiny sample of it. I'm sure you guys have all heard about Pore Professional before. So for today I'm going to be using the Urban Decay All Nighter foundation. This is one of my favorite foundations. I think it's pretty good. It's not new at all. It's been out for a long time, but I really like the coverage and the long wearing ability of it. So I'm going to go in with this and I am going to use a brush for this. So our first brush that we're going to be using is the JH03. So this is a brush that she recommends to use with foundation, of course. So if you are going to use a brush for your foundation, this is the one to do it with. Of course, I know a lot of people like to apply their foundation with a beauty blender or something of that nature, but sometimes I like a good brush. I'm not gonna lie, I know, don't hate me, but everyone loves the beauty blenders, but sometimes I do like a good brush to apply my foundation. So if this one can do the job, then we are happy. So just going to pump a little bit out of this out on my hand and go right in. So far I kind of like the way this applies foundation. For being a brush, I would say it definitely gives a full coverage effect. It blends things out quite nicely. It of course feels nice on the skin. The thing about using brushes to apply foundation is you want to make sure that you're not leaving any harsh streaks behind, because as you're using a brush, of course, you brush it on. So you want to make sure that you're not leaving behind any streaks that can be visible in your foundation. So I would say this does a pretty good job of not leaving those behind. A lot of people use stippling brushes for foundation and sometimes those can be notorious for leaving behind those actual brush streaks. So with something like this that does have those softer bristles, I think you're actually okay when it comes to that. So that's nice. You don't have to worry about that really. As long as you buff it out, I think you're good. So next I'm just going to apply my Shape Tape. There's no brush for this. I'm just going to apply it like normal. Nothing new here. I'm going to quickly bake my under eye area. So I'm using the Hourglass Translucent Veil. Yeah, the Veil Translucent Setting Powder. I'm just going to go in with my beauty blender and grab some product. as our bake is just sitting there, I'm going to go ahead and do my brows. So she doesn't really include any brow brushes in this collection. So unfortunately, I won't be able to try out any of those brushes for this portion of the video. I'm just going to grab my Anastasia brow definer. This is one of my favorite things to use to do brows. So I'm just going to do a simple brow today. Okay, so we have our eyebrows done. Now we are going to wipe away our bake and set the rest of our face. And I guess we'll just go ahead and start on eyes. So first I'm going to use a brush to wipe away my under eyes. I'm just going to be using the JH07. It just looks like this. She specifically said, Jaclyn specifically said in her video that she liked to use this for her under eye. So I'm going to take her word for it and use that, and use this for that. She also mentioned that the JH04, which looks like this, could be good for this as well, but I think I'm gonna use this more so for a kind of like just when I want a more full highlight or a lighter blush. I think that's what I'm gonna use this for. So I'm gonna go in with this more dense one right here and just wipe away those under eyes, and I might even come back later and add a highlight under my eyes, and I will use this for that as well. So I'm just going to wipe away my chin. So I think that worked pretty well. I don't know, I think this one might have been better if you just want to like quickly wipe it away. So I think for like just wiping away your bake, this one might be better, which is the, as I said, the JH06. But if you're actually specifically going in to highlight under your eyes, I think this would be good. Now let's go in with eyeshadow. So of course this is the fun part. So I'm not really sure what kind of look we're going to go for today, but I am going to be using the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. It has really gorgeous colors, so I'm excited to play around with it. So I think for today we don't want to go too crazy, but also we want to play around with the brushes. So I'm just gonna have my palette sitting right here. I'll tell you guys everything that I am using from that palette. First and foremost, I'm just going to go in with an eyeliner or an eyeshadow base. I'm just using the NARS Smudge Proof eyeshadow base. Okay, so now that we have our base on, we are just going to dive right into the shadows. So I'm super excited about this. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I am sitting here, I'm crazy. Okay, so I forgot to set my entire face with powder, which is like my favorite thing to do. But I guess that is a good thing because that means my foundation looks good enough to where I forgot about it. So, she included this big boy in the collection, which I'm so excited about. I love a good fluffy powder brush. My favorite brush in the entire world is the Makeup Forever huge fat fluffy brush. As you can see, this one is stained and so old. So this guy is probably going to replace that Makeup Forever brush. It is amazing. It's just huge fat fluffy, so soft. So I'm super excited to use this today. As you can see, it is giant, so it will get your face set with powder very quickly. So we're just going to go over the cheek area and everywhere that did not get baked earlier. She also included this one if you like a smaller brush for translucent powder. She included this one, which I'm going to use more as a bronzer brush, like a really all over bronze look. I think this would be absolutely perfect. But if you were wondering, the big fat huge fluffy face powder brush is the JH01. So number one right here. Okay, let's see what we're gonna do. I think the very first thing I'm going to do is go in with this huge brush right here, which is the JH30. Basically this is just a giant blending brush, and I'm going to just go in with a really quick transition shade here. So I think I'm going to go in with a darker transition shade here. So I'm just going to be using this shade right here called Riff, which is a kind of darker, it's definitely a darker transition shade, but other than that, there's really not a whole lot of transition shades in here. We have this one in Weekender, but honestly, that's just gonna blend right into my skin tone. So I'm gonna go in with Riff with this brush. And this one is a huge blending brush. So it's definitely going to spread that shadow all around. Just kind of blending that out up top here. So now that we have that done, we're going to go in with, what do we want to do? So I think I'm going to go in with this shade right here called Double Life. I believe that's what it's called. Yes, Double Life. This is a really pretty, kind of like a shimmery version of this, but a little bit darker, which is perfect for what we're doing. And we're going to take a more dense brush to kind of pack that pigment in there, and then we'll go in and blend that out. So for that, I'm going to take the JH34. So this is just a tapered blending brush that is more dense and fat and short. So again, I'm just going to take that shade Double Life and tap off any excess. And like I said, I'm going to do windshield wiper motions right in the crease, kind of packing this in at first. So to blend that shade out, I'm just going to be taking the JH35, which is a very similar brush, but it is not tapered. It has a rounded dome-like shape. So we're going to be taking that. I think that'll be great just to blend out what we just placed. Just very light circular motions here. We don't want to send that upwards a whole lot to take, we don't want to get rid of that orange shade that we had already placed as our transition shade. So we want to be sure that we're kind of blending this downwards instead of upwards, but still getting a smooth kind of crease here and not just a straight line. Okay, so we have that blending done. So now I want to go in with a little something darker right on the inner corner. So I believe I'm just going to take this shade right here, which is called Punk. So this is just a deeper chocolatey brown, but as you can see, it does have a slight orange undertone to it, which is perfect for what we are going for. So to do that, I'm going to want a denser brush and a smaller brush. So I'm going to take the JH40, which just looks like this, and this will be great for packing that shadow right in the inner corner. And then again, as we did before, we're going to go in and blend that out. And to blend that out, I think I'll try and use, yeah, this one should be good, the JH31. Again, another super similar blending brush to all the others, but again, not as tapered and a little shorter. So we're going to be using these two brushes to do the outer corner. So now going in with that JH31 brush, just going to blend that out a little bit. And I'm holding it from the very end because we want to go in with a very light hand right here. Okay, so now what I want to do from here is add an all over lid shade. I'm going to take this orange right here called Ignite. It's a shimmery orange color. I think it'll be super, super pretty all over the lid. So to do that, we are going to use, there's honestly not a whole lot of lid brushes in here. We have this brush right here, which is the JH42. Very small lid brush, but it's what we're gonna work with today. And we're gonna place that all over the lid. And then now that we have that kind of down, I am going to go in with my JH35 and just blend out a little more down here by the inner corner, because everything is kind of, we don't want it to be too harsh right there. So now using the same brush, but the different side that does not have orange on it. I know I wouldn't normally do this, but since it's the only lid brush we have, that's what we're gonna do. And we're gonna go in with that gold shade right here called Stranded, and pack that on the center of the lid. And by doing this, I love putting a lighter shade like that in the center. It just gives the look that much more dimension. Again, just kind of going to take one of those blender brushes and blend out that outer corner so there are no harsh lines. So now for underneath our eyes, I'm going to use the exact same colors that I did up top and just kind of go in with those on the bottom. So first I'm going to go in with this flat definer brush, which is the JH43. So just your typical flat definer brush, and I'm going to go in with that punk shade, which was our outer corner shade, the darkest one that we used. I'm just going to press that underneath the waterline. And then I'm going to go in with a pencil brush. She includes this smaller pencil brush, which I actually appreciate. This is the JH39. So you get this smaller pencil brush, and then you also get, well, you get kind of a lot of pencil brushes. So I'll just go ahead and show you all of them. So you get that smaller one that I just showed you. Then you're gonna have your normal pencil brush, which is this one is the JH38. So this is just your typical pencil brush. And then you get two more fatter pencil brushes. So this is the JH37. So a little longer and a little fatter. And then you get your longest one, which is the JH36. So this one I probably wouldn't use under the eye, but the other three are gonna be great for under the eye. So right now, after we just went in with that dark brown shade, I'm going to go in with the smallest pencil brush that I just showed you. I'm gonna go in with that Double Life shade. Remember, this is what we put in our crease. It's that darker, sparkly, orangish brown shade. So now I'm just going to take my fatter pencil brush right here and grab that Ignite color, the orange one that I put all over the lid, and just really kind of go in and smudge this out. Okay, and lastly, I'm just going to take that last black, shorter brush and literally just blend the under eye like that, with not putting any product on it, just using it to lightly buff that out. So I think we're good as far as that goes. And the last thing I'm going to do for eyes is carve out my eyebrows using a concealer. We do have a concealer brush in the collection. This is the JH41, just your classic concealer brush. So I am just going to take my Shape Tape. This is the lightest shade of Shape Tape that I own. And I'm just going to grab a little bit of that and carve out my brows. Okay, perfect. And then now we are good to go to add shadow underneath the brow bone. And for that, not a really great brush to do that. I'm just going to use the JH39. I cleaned off the tip so it doesn't have brown underneath. So we're just going to go in with this very first shade right here in the palette called Breakaway and put that underneath the brow. And then just going in with this brush right here, which is the JH34, just going to lightly blend out that. This has no shadow on it at all. Just using it to blend out that brow bone and the other shades we have going on. Okay, so I'm just going to do one complete eye and then do the other off camera. So to finish our eyes, we are going to just put on some winged liner. And so I'm just going to be using the Kat Von D Dagger Tattoo Liner. I'm going to be using the Ardell Glamour lashes. So we have that lash on. It looks pretty good. I really like these. So I'm just kind of taking my tweezers and kind of separating them. And now I'm just going to apply my liner on the bottom, which we all know that is going to be MAC Black Track. And again, doesn't really include any eyeliner brushes in this collection, so I'm just going to use one of my own. I'm gonna do this eye and I will be right back. Okay guys, so those are the finished eyes. I think everything turned out pretty well. We have basically used all of her eyeshadow brushes except for two. The two that I did not use, I'll go ahead and show you. The first one is the JH32. It is just a very long tapered blending brush. And then the second one that we did not use is the JH33, which is just a short, kind of almost like a little flat brush. So I guess that could have been good for your eyelid, but oh well. Now we are just going to go and do the rest of our face. So just for the sake of this video, I am going to do a little bit of a dramatic face. That meaning I'm just going to go all over with a bronzer, and then I'm actually going to contour as well. So for just the bronzer, I'm just going to go ahead and use the Marc Jacobs Omega bronzer in Tantric. So for that, I'm just going to use the big bronzing brush right here. This is the JH02. I'm just going to get a little bit of product on my brush, tap it off, and just kind of go honestly all over the face and bring it down the neck as well. That's all the bronzer we're going to do, just because we are going to contour as well. But I do really like this brush. I don't have a brush like this actually, just for like all over bronzer. Or if you had like a ambient lighting powder and you wanted to quickly like dust this all over your face for like a very subtle glow, this might be good for that. So now I'm going to go in with my Park Ave Princess contour kit or contour palette and quickly contour. So she mentioned that she loves contouring with this particular brush. This is the JH05, so that's what we're going to do today. And then I am going to do a little nose contour using this brush, which is a very unique brush to a brush kit. And this is the JH10. So I'm going to use this one to contour my cheekbones. Yeah, I will say this is a very nice contour brush. It blends out like very effortlessly while still giving that contour shape and like small kind of line. But it also is really nice because you are able to blend and place your contour at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense, but I actually really like it for that reason. So love that. This is one of the best contouring brushes I've used, just because it almost leaves like an airbrush finish to your like contour. I don't even know what it is about it, but like I usually think that forehead contours can look very harsh, but this one is just making it look so effortless, like just so natural looking. So of course, as natural as contour can look. But yeah, I really actually like this brush a lot. If you're gonna get one brush, definitely this one is something that I would look into. And again, that is the JH05, if you were wondering. So next I'm going to contour my nose just with that same shade. That brush is good for stamping, but in order to blend it out, I'm taking a bigger brush. This is just the JH08 the one that I tried to use to wipe away powder from my eyes earlier. Yeah, I actually really like that. I think this is a really unique brush to have. It's something that you might not always need, especially if you're not someone who contours your nose daily. But for just a little highlight, if you didn't want to do the full contour and you just wanted to highlight down the center of your nose, I think this is actually a really good brush. The only thing that we are going to do now is apply a blush and a bronzer. Girl, you are already so bronzed, it is insane. So not a bronzer, we're going to apply a blush and a highlight. So for blush, I'm going to go in with MAC Plum Foolery. So I've had this blush for a very long time, but that's what I want to use today with this look. And we are just going to be using the one that she intended for a blush brush, which is the JH04, which looks like that. Just your typical blush brush. So going to get a little bit of product on there. So actually, I really like the way this applies. It's very soft, which is nice because it allows you to kind of blend out all of those edges, so it doesn't look like super harsh on your skin. Okay, for highlight, I'm going to go in with the Sleek Makeup palette. I got this at Target not too long ago, but it has 4 really nice highlighting shades. So I'm just going to go in with one of those today. I think I'm going to go in with the, you know what? Let's do the copper one right here. I have never used that shade before, and we are going very copper today. So why not, you know? So we're going to do the copper one. We're using the highlighting brush. This is the JH09. Just looks like that, your pretty small highlight brush. Never used a copper highlight like this before, so we will see. So yes, it definitely does get you that very precise line there. It's just not, it's not super great at blending out. So if you like that very, which Jaclyn does, that very precise highlight that is just like boom in your face, wow, that's a highlight, you're gonna love this. If you're someone like me that likes a more subtle highlight, I think you would prefer a fluffier brush. I usually use the Sigma F35, so as you can see, it is just a little fatter than the Jaclyn Hill one. So this is the one I usually use because you're able to, as you can see, just really blend that out, which is what I prefer. Okay guys, so I believe that is everything for the face, and now I'm just going to go in really quickly with some lips. Okay, so we have the NARS Barbara lipstick, and then I'm just going to go over it with the Smashbox. This is another mini. I think I got this in a set of 4 a long time ago. Honestly, I don't even know if Smashbox still makes these lip glosses, but if they do, I need to buy a full size of this one because I love it so much. It's in the shade Copper Remix. But as you can see, it's not overwhelmingly copper. It's more of like a nude, but like a darker nude. Here is the finished look, everyone. Just a little rundown on the brushes. What do I think? Are they a good starter pack? Should you buy it, basically? My opinion, it is a pretty good starter pack. As far as your face brushes, you basically have everything you need. As far as the eyeshadow brushes, you'll never need another blending brush for years. I mean, there are so many blending brushes, and she, you know, Jaclyn Hill is the queen of blending effortless, like beautifully. So that makes sense for her to have that many blending brushes in her collection. I will say, if you are someone who wants to do this look right here, I would have loved having another lid brush for my eyeshadow. There is a one small lid brush that you can pack shadows on with, but I would have preferred to see one like this here, which is a little bit bigger and a little fatter. I would have liked to see something like this in the collection. So if you are going to get this collection, if you're a beginner, I think it's an amazing collection. I think that you will have more than enough to get you started, but you might need a lid brush, another one for your eyeshadow on your lid, which is not really a problem. You can get a good lid brush from the drugstore. Here is one from Eco Tools. But yeah, so I mean, it's up to you if you think that you would use these brushes or not. I personally really like them. I'm happy with my purchase, and that's all I can really say right now. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry if it was a long one. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe down below if you are not already. I make new videos every Thursday and a lot of the times on Mondays as well. Other than that, I will talk to you all in my next video. Bye guys.